voice is, by definition, a strong woman. Women are like tea bags. We don't know our true strength until we're in hot water. We all know the best conversations happen in the ladies' room.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Good morning or afternoon or
Whatever.
evening.
So whenever you're listening to this, good whatever that is.
Exactly. We're one short today. Rebecca's missing. Well, she's not missing, but
She's
on vacation.
Yeah, out of office.
Exactly. So, Rebecca, if you're listening, which you probably are, we miss you, and we hope you're having a fabulous time.
Yes.
Seriously.
She's on like a houseboat or something cool.
Is she?
what?
Mhm.
Damn.
That's what she was saying.
What was our invite, dude?
Yeah, seriously. Well, I was, sort of on a house. I wasn't. I was in a swimming pool on Saturday.
Hey, water. That's close enough.
Yeah.
It made me think of something that happened to me on Saturday.
Okay.
I took my son, he's 14 months old, to the pool in the
Yeah.
community that we live in.
Okay.
Really nice.
Yeah.
And there's a street that separates all of the different apartment complexes, and really no one drives down that street unless you live in the apartment area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just it separates like the side I live on, and I have to cross that road to get over to the pool.
Okay.
So me and Bridger are walking back to our place, and I've got Bridger in my arm,
Right.
and he's got this bright colored beach towel on, and I'm carrying him, and I've got a bright white bathing suit and a lime green pool floaty. Like, we are quite
You can
the
see
skeptical.
you, yeah.
Like, hello.
It's not like you're camouflage.
No,
Right.
we are obvious on the road, and I'm halfway through the crosswalk, and a car's coming, and so I kind of slow down just to like catch their eye, you know, to make sure like we have eye contact, and you see me. She didn't see me. She went flying on past me.
What?
And not even like the tap on the brake. Holy smokes! I just saw you. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Lordy moment.
Like
No, just
blind.
no.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No
just
straight through.
regard
kept
to
driving,
anybody
kept
else.
going. And I thought for sure as she passed me, maybe her driver's side window, she'd catch me.
Yeah.
And nope. And
No.
because she had the sun blind down, and then you've got like the panel that comes up the side of your windshield. So I'm sure between, like, I was just probably right in her blind spot.
Yeah, but still, man, with all those bright colors, dude, and for her to not be aware of what she's got going
Yeah.
on, like, thank God.
I stopped.
You
She,
were
know
paying
what?
attention.
She's probably on her phone.
Probably. That's and I literally like, hey,
Yeah.
hello,
Safety.
Like, hello.
I'm here.
She didn't see me, and I was like, oh my God, we would have just got hit. Because
Yeah.
some people just obliviously walk across the crosswalk
Oh,
and
yeah.
whatever. Like, if I would have been on my phone in the crosswalk,
Right.
she totally would have hit me.
Absolutely,
But I
dude.
just happened to be being very
Being aware.
vigilant
And
because
she was flying, huh?
oh yeah, just straight through. And I caught the eye of this gal that was coming out of the complex in her car, and she looked at me with like death on her face, like
oh my
you
God.
almost got hit by a car. And I looked at
Right.
her like, I know, like we had a conversation
Just
with
with
our
your
eyes.
eyes.
Like,
Well, no, it's
my
it's super
God.
important because I don't have a car, so I am constantly walking, taking the max. I'm always aware, even if I got my earbuds in, dude. Like, I don't care. I'm looking left and right. I don't care if the sign says for me to go. I'm still gonna make sure that there are no cars coming.
Yeah.
Even when I'm walking like solo by myself and I see people walk by me, I don't know what they got going on in their
Yeah.
brain.
Oh.
I don't know what they're thinking if they want to turn around and start following me.
oh,
So I'm
totally.
always
Aware.
turning around, aware of what's going on. And yeah.
I mean, have you had a situation where that's happened? Like somebody's followed you, or you've had to, you know,
I have.
break
I-
out ninja moves?
I had, so when I worked at Hooters, which,
Yeah.
okay, putting it out there, like, yeah, I worked at Hooters for 5 years, made a lot of money, made a lot of girlfriends. But you meet a lot of people.
Yeah, and a lot of weirdos.
A lot of weirdos.
Uh-huh.
I never met this guy, but he supposedly would come in there and give letters to like all my girlfriends who like worked there, and like my manager would be like, give this to Amanda, the tall blonde.
Oh my God.
And it would be like
Ew.
letters. This was like when I was like 18. And it would be letter. I still have these freaking letters, by the way. I
Why?
have no idea why.
You
And
need to
it
burn
was
that
like,
stuff.
you told me that you loved me and you gave me this necklace, which none of this ever happened. I want to date you. Here's my address. Or if you would like, you can meet me at Dave & Buster's in the parking lot, like way in the back. And I'm just like, what?
What?
I you not, dude. I you not.
Oh my God.
Never once saw this guy, met this guy or anything. But he looked really old, and a lot of people said he looked like he was maybe slow.
Oh.
But I've never met this guy, and thankfully I never did. I never met him in the parking lot of Dave & Buster's way in the back. I was like, no way.
Dude. But
So
you don't know if he's like watching you.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then another instance, when I first moved here to Portland, I had my blue hair at the time.
Oh,
and
I know this
You know
story.
this story. This guy wasn't like trying to attack me or anything, but it was like weird. I was waiting for the Max. My hair was all blue. I had my makeup all done. I was getting ready to go downtown and like meet up with my buddies Cole and Cody. And out of the corner of my eye, dude, I see like a motion of a guy behind me like moving his hand as if he's
no.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Sure as I turn around, he's got his beep out and he is doing his
Taking care of
business to me.
Yikes. That is disgusting.
To me, like looking at me, like doing his thing. And
Oh my gosh.
The Max is coming, thank God. I hop on the Max, I turn around and he's gone.
Did you throw? I would have thrown something at
I
him.
just don't
No,
know.
I
But,
would have ran away.
but to that point though, like what would you do if something like that were to happen? If somebody were to come up to you and said, with a gun,
Yeah.
give me all your money, give me your shit now, what would you do?
Well,
I'd pull out my gun.
Yeah.
Do you have a gun though?
Yeah.
You do have a gun?
I carry.
You do?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I have mace. I have.
You should have maced his I'm just saying.
Oh
That's what I would have done. Hell yeah.
Because if he
freak.
wasn't like trying to attack you and you
Yeah.
had a moment to, I've been like, what can I
Dude.
do to this weirdo?
Right? I didn't. I
Listen,
don't know.
my parents, from the day I can remember, just have always said this to my sister and I, like, this type of thing can happen
Yes.
to
Yeah.
girls.
Yes.
It happens to girls and women all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
And they said, they would always say, listen, like, if someone comes up to you and you're by yourself, you need to fight
Mm-hmm.
tooth and nail at that very moment. Scream at the top of your lungs
Yeah.
because there in public, someone might hear you.
Exactly.
The minute they get you in a car or a van
That's when.
and
it's
then
over.
into the woods,
Mhm.
ain't nobody gonna hear you screaming in the woods.
Hell no.
No.
Hell
You know
no.
what I'm saying? Or in the middle, behind Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. For real
But
though.
like in that moment, you have to
React.
Make a
react.
commotion then.
Make
Yes.
make a scene.
yeah.
Make a scene
Mhm.
because more oftentimes than not, you get snatched up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like I said, like no one's gonna hear you screaming at the top of your lungs in the middle of the woods.
What's
No.
your story, Lo?
I've been followed a couple times here in Portland.
Okay, so I was thinking back home in
So,
Florida. So here.
No, I've never really been followed in Florida. And I think the reasoning behind that is because I was more aware of like my surroundings there. Like I
Right.
grew up there, like I knew what areas not to go to, what
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Whereas here, when I first moved here, I didn't really know
Yeah.
bad areas from good areas.
Sure.
And at the time, I was working nights full time, so I was walking from here back to the place that I was staying.
Oh my
at
gosh.
night.
Yes, I remember this.
And one time I was walking, minding my own business, like no big deal, and it wasn't really that late.
It was probably like, what, 11:30?
Yeah, 11:30.
Yeah, 11:30.
And a group of guys in like this car like drove by me and were
Oh.
like shouting shit. And that's happened to me before.
Yeah.
It,
You know
that's
what I'm
gonna
saying?
happen. Cat calling.
Cat
Calling or
calls
whatever, so I
happen
didn't really
everywhere.
pay any mind. I didn't really react either.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like give them the finger or anything
Right.
like
No.
that.
Right.
But then I go up to the next block and they're there again. And I'm like,
Yeah. Like what?
I was like, one-on-one, like I have a good shot.
exactly.
Mhm.
But
Three
three
dudes.
dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like by myself, like no way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna
Mhm.
get hurt.
Yeah.
So I like ran to the other street
Yeah.
and then ran back around and like hid kind of in between like two buildings or like in like a where like the homeless people sleep. like just like one of those like
Whatever.
in case like
Yeah.
just kind of like
Yeah.
sat there for a second
Yeah.
and then like kind of peeked around and like they were gone.
Thank God.
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
And then another time while I was working nights full time. You see why I don't want to work nights anymore?
No, absolutely.
Understandable.
Right.
I was parking in the other parking garage. Now I park here in the building,
Yeah.
so I
Uh-huh.
just go straight down the elevator. But at the time, I was parking in the Unitas building, and they shut that down at like 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And there'd be times where I would be so busy at work, I would forget to grab my keys.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember one time I was going down there to like see if they were still open or whatever, or move my car. I don't remember what it was.
Mhm.
And this guy who was doing construction in this building
Oh.
was like following me around.
What?
What?
And I like turned around. He was like trying to talk to me. He was like, "Hey, hey." I'm like,
No.
no, thank you, no, thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he kept following me. I was like, "If you keep following me, I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah. No, seriously, like, back
I did.
off.
I was like,
Yeah.
back the off. Stop following me. Stop it.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh. And then I either got my keys or I left. I don't remember, but I had to come back in.
Yeah, the
So
building.
I told the security guard, I was like, hey, this guy who's doing construction in this building
Yeah.
is following me around.
Yeah.
You guys need to put these people in check. Because now I'm like, okay, great. Now I'm in the same building as this guy alone.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody on this floor at 9:30 at night.
Hell
No.
no.
I'm like, how do I know that this guy's not going to come
Up
in
here.
and follow me up here? And
Exactly.
then I'm really screwed.
No shit,
That's when you
dude.
turn the on-air button and just start screaming.
Yeah, come, help me.
You know?
Yeah,
Somebody
yes,
help-
yes.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
I only have actually one story. I just thought of it.
Yeah.
It was in my last radio station in the building. We were on the top floor of a hotel.
Oh, wow.
And so you
kinda
didn't
cool.
have to
Yeah.
have a key card during the day
Ooh.
to get up to the top floor.
So, you
I don't
know.
like
It was
that,
just
yeah.
at night and in the mornings.
Right,
like
right.
here during the day.
You need a key card to get in.
You have to have a
no
key-
matter what.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that we're so
too.
secure
I
here.
know.
Yeah, same. And even to get into reception, like they
Yeah.
have to look at you and be like, okay, buzz you in.
Yeah.
At where I was in Billings, you could come up to the top floor and you'd come to reception and you could just walk into
Yep.
reception and then reception would either point you wherever you needed
Mm-hmm.
to go or whatever. But there was a door that was opposite of reception that went down a side hall and it was a catering hallway because it's
the
a
hotel.
hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and when the radio station wasn't there, it used to be a restaurant up on the very top.
Gotcha.
So there's a
Okay.
catering hallway that has a separate door that goes to a separate service elevator.
Oh, my
Oh.
God.
So this guy, and it was on a weekend. I had to go in on a weekend because I used to full time on Top 40 and then
Yeah.
do weekends on the country
Wow,
station.
girl.
And it was a Saturday morning at like 9 a.m. So promo people were in and out of the building
Sure.
doing events and
Yeah.
whatever, and that's pretty normal on a weekend in the summer.
Absolutely.
So I hear my office is right next to the back door in this back hallway. And you have to have a key card to get into that, obviously.
Yeah.
But I hear this knock on the door. And so I go up and I'm like, hello. And it's our engineer, Tim. He goes, hey, it's Tim. And I was like, oh. So I let him in and he grabs stuff and he leaves. He's like, I'll be back in just a few minutes. I got to take stuff down to the van and then I'll be back. I was like, okay, cool. So I go back to my desk. Well, a few minutes later, I hear the knock and I just automatically assume
Think it's him.
It's Tim because
Yeah.
he just told me I'll be back in a minute.
Right.
And I open it and here's this huge guy. Like he's tall and huge, old. I think he wasn't all there.
Yeah.
And I opened it. I was like, oh. And I immediately like
Went to close the door.
closed the door and he put his foot in
Oh, hell
between
no.
the
oh, my
door.
God. That would have scared the shit out of me.
And so I had my hand on the handle and I was like, okay.
What do I do now?
All right. And so I talked to him. I was like, hey, how can I help you?
Right.
He's like, well, is this the radio station? And he acted at first like he was kind of put together. And you know old fuddy-duddy radio dudes?
Dude.
yeah,
he-
yes.
He looked like an old fuddy-duddy
Yes.
radio dude.
Yes.
With the white New Balance tennis
Yes.
shoes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, maybe this is something I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how can I help you? He goes, is this the radio stations? And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I'm here to get it on the air. And I was like, oh. And at first I was like, okay, I don't want to like fancy him in this
Right, like-
weird thing, but maybe for some reason I've missed a memo.
Like there's an interview
You're filling
or-
in for a rock guy. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
something.
know.
You don't know?
You know, and I was like, oh, what station? And he's like, well, any of them. And I was like, okay.
All right,
Like,
now
as-
that right there.
As soon as he said any of them, I was like, frick, your foot's in between the door and me. And so I had no idea what he was saying to me
Yeah.
for the next like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
'Cause your brain
I was trying
is
to
trying to
plan
get him
it
out.
out.
Get the
or
outta here.
hoping Tim would show back up in the
Yeah.
hallway.
Yeah,
and
where
I
the hell
could-
you are you
Yeah,
at,
where's
Tim?
Tim?
and so I asked the guy, I said, hey, you know what? I'm like, do you have a business card that I can take and let our OM know to give you a call?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah. And so he steps back to get into his jacket pocket. And
You
I go,
slam the door?
"Whoop," slam the door. And I can hear him out there like, hey, wait a minute. And I like ran around to the other side of the building
Yeah,
out
you're
to
like, "See ya."
reception.
Dude.
Because I think there was a board op that was in, and so I ran up to front to reception where the
hey.
studio where he was, and I was like, "Hey, called building security."
Yeah.
They escorted him out, like for trespassing and
Yeah.
stuff. But then,
He came back.
15 minutes later, after that, he got back in through the service elevator.
Who is this guy?
And my boss happened to come up because he was coming in to do some work. And he came into the hallway with his 10-year-old daughter while this guy was in the hallway. I was now
Oh,
in the
Lord.
studio, so I didn't know any of this at
Right,
first.
right.
But he was back in the hallway, and he walks in. He goes,
In
"Hey."
the radio station now. He's
Yeah.
inside the radio
Yeah.
station. Oh my God.
Because Tim, I guess, let him in with him, saying like, "Hey, I gotta get on the air." And Tim doesn't know.
Tim
and
don't know. He's
Tim
just
don't know. So he just lets him in, and he's coming down the hall. Well, my OM happens to be coming down the hall the other way, and was like,
Who the
"Hey,
hell are you?"
can I help you?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm trying to get on the air." And
my
of course, my
God.
boss realizes pretty quickly, like, "Okay, you're psycho."
exactly.
At this point, though, they're 10 feet down the hall from my studio. And I don't know this. I don't know any of this is happening because I'm,
You're tracking now
headphones
by this
on,
point.
tracking,
Yeah.
going.
Working.
Don't find any of this out until Monday.
Oh
Yo,
my
dude.
God.
When they're telling, like, everybody's kind of by the water cooler,
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
congregating.
And they were like, "Jen, you almost died." And I was like, what? And then my boss told me, he goes, "Yeah, crazy dude. Like, Tim told me what happened with the other guy, but he was in the station like a little bit after." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, right down the hallway from your studio. I intercepted him." I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding
Not okay.
me?"
Not
Like,
okay.
and then
Dude.
my husband was like, "And we're getting you a gun."
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because seriously.
I had a stalker one time
You did?
in Morgantown. And it was like very similar to like how you're describing like the station. Like there was no like security. Like you just
Yeah.
walked up.
Ugh, no
You
way.
walked
Yeah.
up, you talked to the reception, and the reception would just tell you where to go. So he went, I guess he was like a regular listener. And
boy.
his nickname was Cowman.
Oh.
Because he would just call
cool.
he would just call the radio and just moo
Oh.
anytime somebody picked up the phone.
What?
Also, probably not all there.
Probably
No.
not.
So then he was like calling me and like, saying all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And it was like pretty innocent at first. And then it was like, are you as beautiful as you sound?
Oh,
Da, da, da,
that's
da.
like
That's a flag.
code red.
Yeah.
Beep,
Code
beep,
red.
beep.
And then he started coming to the radio station. And he came up and he was like, "Oh, I'm here to bring low breakfast."
What?
Oh, Lord.
And the receptionist was like, "Oh, does she know you're coming?" And the guy was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure."
No.
So she
Lets him in.
lets him in, right?
an
So
idiot.
so he's
She's an
sitting,
idiot.
He's sitting in the freaking lobby.
Stop.
But she's walking back to the studio,
Leaving him there by himself.
leaving him there by himself in the lobby. Which
just
it
wander
doesn't
off.
matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He could have came back if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But there was like a line where you could call the studio.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you didn't think to call me?
Yeah, why would you get up?
She gets up and comes back into the studio and is like, "Hey, Cowman's here to see you." I go, "Who?"
Yeah, what?
Okay, where is he now?
Yeah, where the hell is? She's like, "Oh yeah, he brought you breakfast." I was like,
No.
No.
and don't ever do that again.
No.
No.
Like
You
we're
turn those people
in
away, dude.
Yeah.
We're in a soundproof, windowless freaking room.
Yeah.
and this guy knows where the studio is now. So
Uh-huh.
if he wants to come back and do crazy stuff,
He can.
He can.
Yeah.
So it didn't stop there. So then he started showing it to my remotes.
Oh,
that's the
Lord.
worst because you can't escape. Because
No, and it's like
Right.
you're not going to sit there and be a because you're working and
Yeah.
you got to be there and smiling and
So,
happy and
he started coming to my remotes. And I was in a relationship at the time,
Mhm.
and I had to tell my boyfriend.
Well,
I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
listen, I was like, "Joe, like this friggin' guy, he's coming to my work. Now he's coming to my remotes. It's
Joe
making
needs
me
to show up
uncomfortable."
and be on
Beat his ass.
security.
So listen.
Please tell me there's a
we
fight.
called it.
So Joe, bless his heart, we're good now. We broke up. It was really bad, but now we're fine.
Cool.
But Italian guy, big Italian family.
Ooh, yeah.
Last name Sorrentino, like
Yeah.
just full
Sounds like
on.
an ass kicking dude.
Yeah, yeah.
So I remember one day he texted me. He goes, "Hey, meet me at." We used to go to this like pizza place all the time. He's like, "Meet me at this place. We'll get some dinner." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I meet him there. He's dressed in like all black, which is like not like him.
Yeah, yeah.
the
You're like,
fuck?
what's going on?
Hair's like slicked back. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Mob.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Are you good?" He's like, "We're going to sit down, but come follow me. We want to do some window shopping."
What?
So I found out that Cowman worked at Five Guys, and I must have slipped out. So here we go. We're walking towards the Five Guys that Cowman works at.
Oh my God.
And-
Your boyfriend did like
Research, dude.
CIA.
So we walk by the window. I was like, "I don't want to go in there." He's like, "We don't have to go in there." He's like, "Just look through the window. Is he in there?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's in there." He's like, "All right, go wait in the restaurant. I'll be right back." I'm like, "Oh, shit." So I guess he had went in there before I got there.
Yeah.
And was like, "I'm here to see Cowman."
Yeah.
You think
And-
they and Five Guys know he's
They
Cowman?
do. They did.
Why?
Yes.
That's funny.
Yes.
This guy's a
So they're like, oh no, he's not here, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, all right, well, you tell Cowman when he gets here that Lauren doesn't need any more friends. She's got plenty of friends. Stop calling her at work.
Yeah.
Stop showing up at work, like blah, 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 blah. So fast forward to me getting there, and I see Cowman is in there. So Joe's now like, oh, you mother lied to me.
Yeah.
So now it's like on. So he goes inside, and he doesn't say anything. He just walks back behind the counter, grabs Cowman, and it's like, if I see you or hear about you talking to my girlfriend again, I'm going to come here and I'm going to break your legs.
Whoa, dude.
And if you aren't here, I'm going to find you and I'm going to break your legs. Stop calling her. Stop talking to her. Blah, blah, blah. I just want to be your friend. I just want to be your friend.
You're not Barney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
you're,
doesn't-
you're not Barney.
And that's what Joe's like, she doesn't need any more friends. So that was it.
Whoa.
He walked back to the restaurant. I was like, what'd you do? He was like, don't worry about it. It's taken care of. I was like, oh my God.
Did Cowman ever?
Nope.
Wow.
Never heard from Cowman again. Never heard from Cowman.
Okay,
Granted,
Italian
I
Joe.
was only there for like maybe 3 more months. 3
Right.
or 4 more months.
Yeah.
I was only in Morgantown a short time.
But still.
Yeah. And Cowman probably doesn't even call the radio station anymore.
Probably
because of
not.
that.
He's probably got the scared out of him.
Good.
Said, oh,
Yeah.
I don't even want to be known as Cowman
He
anymore.
might still be sitting in the back room at Five Guys.
crying.
As he should. Because guys don't, like,
They don't get it.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that.
Like, even if you're
Get the
driving
hint.
down the car, like in the car down the road with your buddies, and at night, like in your head, let it register. Even though she's pretty and
Yeah.
you might normally want to say something to her in the daylight,
Yeah.
don't say it at night.
Yeah.
Or would you want somebody doing that to your mom or your sister?
Exactly. Somebody who's close to you.
Seriously.
Yeah, like would you want your
Younger sister
your younger sister or your
to get
mom
hit
to have,
on
to,
by
have to
some
go through that?
Yeah.
like terrifying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's scary out there for women.
Yeah, especially if you're by yourself. Because similar to both of your
Yeah.
guys' stories, I was doing overnights in Detroit, like 11 to 5 a.m. I was the only one there in that building. I was doing my show,
Yeah,
and
dude,
it was
it's
probably
scary.
like 7. Well, by this time it's probably like 7. So now it's like morning time because I'm leaving. One car sitting out there with the engine on, and I'm going to my car, which is like
Right.
maybe like 5 spaces down from this car.
Right.
Guy gets out. I was Paris on the air at the time, and he's like, "Hey, are you Paris?"
Nope.
Nope.
I was like,
Nope.
I'm like, who's asking? He's like, oh, I just wanted to get an autograph. I'm like, she's not here, dude. And I got in my car and I sped off. I'm
Yeah.
like, bye.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's terrifying.
Like, why?
Like, how long was he sitting out there?
Oh,
Right.
the whole night, I bet.
Like, thank God he didn't have a gun or nothing like that.
Dude.
So, do you carry where's your gun? At your house?
At my house, locked up. But, like, if we go out, and because I don't carry it here at work, which,
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, some days I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should.
yeah.
But if we're out somewhere,
or it's just you and Bridger.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
I mean, I know my places where I think I'm pretty
Safe.
Okay.
safe.
I
Like,
agree,
yeah, I'm
I
not
agree.
carrying it into the Target.
I
Like,
agree.
I don't need it in Target.
No. But like, if I'm walking, because like I said, I got my mace. I got my cat thing that's got those cat ears, so I could put my fingers in it and I could like punch somebody in the
yes.
face.
Yeah.
And I got my comb knife, so it looks like a comb, but it's actually a knife. So no matter where I'm
She's
walking,
packing.
Yeah.
I have, like, I even have my keys out and with the mace in
Yeah.
my hand.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
motherfucker. Sorry to
sis-
swear, but
My
like,
sister,
Mess with me.
she's got a taser.
I've heard of somebody having tasers too.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's got a taser.
Yeah.
Those are.
Just clicking that thing is like, all right.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I hope I never need to use a gun.
Same.
Yeah.
But just the idea that I've got it on me, I know I already have a leg up on somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And chances are whoever comes up on me probably won't have a firearm. So just the pulling it out motion
Right.
will scare the living bejesus
Yep.
out of somebody. Like when I did training, we had to do like a simulator training.
Good.
And they put you through, like the cops do this, they put you through a real video simulation where it's a video of people in a scenario. You're there in person with a not real gun, but almost like a real one. And the trainer is kind
they
of
come
playing
and grab you?
God in the
Oh.
video. Like they can change the scenario based on how you react in it.
Oh, wow.
So they can change it as it goes. It's the simulator. And in one of the simulators, I was waiting at a bus stop. And at the bus stop, there was some kids that had a table and they were selling raffle tickets. And this guy acting typically sketch.
Yeah.
And
Tried to rob
I'm
them.
watching him in the simulator going like, that guy's being weird. And he comes up to the table and he tells the kids like, hey, I've got a gun. Put all the money in the box in the bag, and like hands them the bag. And the kids kind of panic, but like they think he has a gun.
Yeah.
And so the guy's like looking around, making sure no one's, because he's being discreet.
Yeah.
And I just slowly pull out my gun, like from my pocket, like from my side.
Yeah.
And the guy in the simulator sees it. One of the situations is that he sees you with it.
Okay.
And he automatically just takes off running.
Wow.
Like without the money or anything. So like in that scenario, if they just see it,
showing it.
just knowing that
Yeah,
they are
looking at a gun, and if it's pointed at
Yeah.
you, that's terrifying.
like
It's like,
you're
Yeah.
outnumbered,
Yeah.
Broseph. Yeah.
Joseph, yeah.
You got anything to protect yourself?
Guns, one gun.
She's got physical
two
guns
guns.
on her arms right now.
No, but you know what? I need to get
You
something.
should.
I need to get at least some mace. And I've been
Yeah.
saying that to myself for the longest time.
I'll buy it
used to
for you,
have
dog.
it,
Yeah.
and I need to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I think every female needs to have some sort of protection.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Even guys, man. Hey, everybody's
Yeah,
got to
you
be.
never know.
Just be. And you know what? Yeah, I watch Forensic Files. Yeah, I watch those identity crisis shows. But you know what? I'm glad I do because
Yeah.
it shows me what to be aware of.
Oh, totally.
And like hidden signs of crazy and
Yes.
and especially living in Portland, man. These people are
They're
unpredictable.
nuts.
They're weird.
They're weird.
The theme today is stay woke, fam.
Stay woke, fam.
Protection.
Flushing.